Hello everybody, thank you for joining us this week for our apiary update here on YouTube with myself Josh and our experienced beekeeper Roger. In this week's video we do kill a queen, sadly. She's been producing lots of tempestuous bees. Remember, if you want to ask any questions or ask for any future demonstrations, leave them in the comments below.
Right, so we're now down to the crown board, which is a Roger special with the 1.5 inch lip.
I like that idea though.
So when we do our treatment, which is going to be very soon, I would have thought.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get the supers off the hives, but then it's now getting on for, well, I mean, it's almost getting on for too late to treat, because it takes 6 weeks to do a full treatment with ApiGuard.
It does, yeah.
And it's now more or less the middle of August, so we're talking about not finishing treatment till the end of September, and we haven't done any feeding to get them through the winter, which may or may not be necessary, but if we do need to do it, then it doesn't give us much time, because we're then at the end of the getting on towards the end of the autumn, or the middle of the autumn, and it's going to be too much work for them to do, although there should be still plenty of bees in there, I would have thought. But anyway, whatever, we need to get seriously thinking about whipping the supers off this lot, and the ones that we've got them on, and treating them, because you're supposed to treat them all at the same time.
Otherwise
so
it sort of defeats the object, doesn't it?
All the hives at one go, because otherwise I think it can cause trouble with reinfection, and also there's something about robbing or something. I don't know what.
I guess drift is another one, isn't it?
Drifting and whatnot. Right, so we're into
the brood of the WBC.
A box of bees.
Yeah. And
as you can see, the bees are covering all the frames, including the 2 outside ones. Very little nectar, there's a little bit here and a little bit of stored stuff up there.
Yeah.
So maybe we should persist in feeding these gently, to not just to keep them alive, but to also persuade them to draw these combs to the bottom. Now it's kind of sagged out this way by about, I don't know, probably a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, something like that. So I'm just going to use the flat of the hive tool to push that central bit back that way a little bit, which, it deforms the cells, I know.
But they can repair that.
We're talking bees that work with wax all their lives, so I'm not going to worry about that. And that way, perhaps we can get some bit straighter comb here.
That'll be good.
And on that side, as you can see, it's broken some of the cell walls, but I would expect they wouldn't be too troubled to repair that. They might do it as drone, which will be a nuisance. And on this side we've got the queen, who's looking quite well fed and rushing about like an idiot, which is quite what we want. We've got eggs in the sort of top, as you look at it, bit there, in between the
baby bees running around. Quite a lot of baby bees, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's a little one there.
And I mean, the only thing about this lot is that they haven't got a huge lot of stores. Well, the colony is probably a bit unbalanced in the sort of foragers to baby bees stakes anyway, because we put frames of sealed brood and whatnot into it from other colonies to make up the numbers. So there will be more sort of young bees, house bees as it were, than foragers, which is not usual. So they are sort of all eating, but there's not so many of them collecting. So even if it were still flow time, you know, there still wouldn't be probably huge amounts coming in because the bees are the wrong age.
Baby one coming out there.
And they're just coming out, yeah.
They're all excited about her. There she is. Oh.
As I say, we just need to feed them a little and often, as it were, just so that there's a constant flow of food through the population, which will encourage the queen to lay, because you know they share everything more or less equally. So if bees are well fed in a hive, then they're all well fed, and if they starve, then they all starve together.
Yeah.
So any food that actually goes in goes all around the hive, being generally processed and sorted. And so if it's syrup and it's going to be used by them, and possibly stored for the winter at this time of year as well, but they'll have an eye to making more space to do things, because the winter's coming on, so they need more space to store things. They need more space for the queen to lay in, so you know, it encourages them even at this late stage of the season to draw wax. I'm not quite sure what's going on with those two. There's one that's, I think, from this hive, and there's one that might be from somewhere else that's just intent on robbing anybody that's not looking, I think.
Yeah.
And off she goes.
It isn't very light in there, is it?
My eyes no longer work in the dark like they used to.
Need to eat more carrots, Roger. That's what they say.
I need to lose 30 years somewhere.
You mean you're not losing it here as you're doing the beekeeping?
No, that's £30 and a lot of patience that I'm losing here. Right, so here we go. So I'm going to use this to lever these frames over a bit, and when you do this with your J-type hive tool, you do it like that, and against the shoulder of the frame and the brood chamber, and just push it over like that, and then when you do the other end, you turn it round so the main part of the thing is again what's taking all the stress. Otherwise you might just mess up your hive tool, or something equally catastrophic, and I think there's just about enough room in there to get that in.
Yeah.
Except there's propolis on it, so I think I better take it out and scrape that off first. Again, if you hold the hive tool more or less at right angles to the woodwork, then you can drag it along
Like that,
and the stuff comes off, but you're not going to get involved in getting under the grain of the woodwork and strip the shoulders off your sidebars. Depending how carefully the frame and the brood chamber are put together, there's quite often only half a bee space down there, and so the bees then stuff it with propolis. And this is still a bit of a trial to get in, but it's gone. They're squashed already. We can't unsquash them.
No.
Which is actually a fairly important message to all our beekeepers.
It is, yeah.
So, when you come to put it back together,
yes,
you try to get the bees off the joining faces of the woodwork so that you don't squash them when you put the thing together. I'm surprised we aren't seeing more wasps.
Yeah.
I see a bit thin today. Oh my goodness, look at that lot.
Ooh, oh, in the roof as well.
A lot of bees up the top of this one.
Well, does that mean we've got a lot of bees in the super?
Well, hopefully. Whether they're actually doing anything useful in there is another thing altogether, of course.
So we were expecting a population explosion in here, weren't we? Because that was why we popped the super on.
Yep. In the hopes of getting it drawn. We didn't expect it to get filled, but we did think it might get some of the foundation drawn. There's a lot of bees in there. There's a few. There's one or two of these frames are already drawn. They're the ones with most of the bees on. So I don't know. Maybe it hasn't worked. Maybe it has. So again, I mean, I'm not sure whether those holes are there already or not. But whatever, they're not drawing that out at all. But it gives somewhere for all these bees to stand about and not congest the brood chamber, which is thought to be one of the triggers for swarming.
Yes.
Now this is a bit stuck down, but as it's quite a pliable queen excluder, it's not too bad. If it were a little colder and this were a stiffer excluder, we'd have had a crack then, which would have made everybody go boo! And the thing is, if you're worried, concerned about rolling bees against the outside of the box, then particularly at the height of the season, then if you take the second frame out first, that will usually have brood on it, so it will actually be narrower than the outside frame, which will usually have, at any point of the season, mostly stores in it. Because when they're storing food, they only leave one space between the comb face and the next obstruction over. Whereas if they have brood, then they leave two bee spaces in that gap, which gives you more room to lift the frames out without catching bees and crushing them. Maybe see, although the bees are kind of getting in the way a bit, they are amenable to being pushed out of the way by either gentle shove with the hive tool or even a gentle shove with a finger or thumb. So if you're prepared to take time, you don't need to squash bees. Yeah, so this one, we've got 2 supers on it. This one looks as though it's fairly full. I don't know how well capped it is at the moment, so I suppose we better pull a couple out and have a look. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that honey, it just isn't full and capped, but they won't cap it until they've filled the cells up, really, so they're as optimistic as the beekeeper in that respect. You know, they'll leave it uncapped.
Just in case.
Just in case they find another big source of nectar, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. Yeah, so I mean, we just take that off and extract it, I think, is the scheme now.
Got it?
Yeah, just give it a little twist. Yeah, make sure it's not connected to anything underneath. Put that there. We appear to have a population of bees in there.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we're not supposed to use a lot of smoke in the supers because it it taints the honey. Oh, bugger off. Here we go.
Oh, are they off?
Things are starting to kick off now. Right, so
We used the cover cloths last time, didn't we?
if there's any eggs in there at all, there's not many. What was in there last week was mostly sealed brood, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
there's obviously still something going on, but they appear to be kind of more or less determined to either change the queen or swarm and keep producing queen cells one way or another. Again, I don't think there's any sign of relaying that lot. So the bees are emerging, but they're not being relayed. So I would imagine we might have got, it's quite possible the queen's gone, which would partially account for, oh, there's eggs in there.
Here we go. They're coming for me now.
Oh,
Every time.
a couple of them don't like your microphone.
They really don't. I can't be wearing the same microphone every week.
I shall get the cloths. We actually would, because of this business, we would like them to requeen, but we want them to requeen with what we want them to requeen with, not just use their own stock and perpetuate the problem.
Yeah.
Probably make it worse. So that's why we put that frame of eggs in with the drawing pin in it. Well, it's a frame mostly of brood, but there were a few eggs in it. But I mean, we've had trouble spotting the queen in this one as well. So it's not just a case of simply taking the queen out and giving her the order of the boot. It's we can't find the thing. So basically we've put some eggs in the hopes that if they're absolutely set on producing a new queen, it'll be, as I say, from eggs that we want them to use, and that way we will hopefully get a better queen, a calmer queen, so we should get calmer workers. See, the thing is that now that we've sort of decided on this, the queen's actually laying more than she was before. 2 or 3 weeks ago we were going through and we couldn't see the queen or any eggs.
No, but lots of queen cells.
And there were lots of queen cells. Now we've got more eggs this week, and so far no queen cells that are actually charged. So far.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will be prepared to bet that if we find the queen in here and kill her, I would guess, as I say, I'll be prepared to bet that they will produce 25 to 30 queen cells.
Oh yeah.
As a first go, and we'll go through them after a week, take all those out because we don't want them producing new queen from this stock, and they'll probably produce another 15 the following week, which will be absolutely useless because by then, of course, the stock they're using is going to be too old to really produce a decent queen. So, we're sort of fighting a losing battle with this lot unless we can persuade them to use eggs that we put in there from a much better colony, a much nicer colony. Now there's quite a few eggs in there again, and we've got a wax moth caterpillar in there, I think, somewhere. And where is it? There somewhere.
Oh yeah, look, you can see the difference. Those two, isn't it?
Yeah. Where it goes from there. Oh, get off my finger, you stupid thing. Go on. Buzz off. Right. We'll try.
We're going to make them happy.
Roger attempts to encourage the wax moth caterpillar to emerge by tapping the frame with his hive tool.
Oh, they're happy now, Roger.
Yeah, they didn't think that was funny much, did they? No, and this is what I mean about persevering with the queen business, because we did what we did. We did the nuke. We did 1, 2, 3, 4. We did 5 or 6 new queens, and of the ones that we chose, all but one are fine.
Yeah.
This one is better than the predecessor, but still not quite right.
No.
So it does work, even though it's not absolutely surefire, because you can't control what the queens will go off and mate with. So although we tried to start off with nice eggs from nice colonies, so we would get nice virgins, then they go off and mate with riffraff, and your bees are basically riffraff. But even these are better than they were before we started. So we're sort of getting somewhere, even if we haven't reached the desired end yet. Eggs along the bottom. So I mean, there's still a functioning queen in here somewhere. It's just that we can't see her, which is hardly surprising when nobody stands still and they're all jiggling about all the time. Yeah, unfortunately, we've got a wrong un. Anyway, there we go. If it was all straightforward, it wouldn't be quite as interesting. Again, I mean, in the other colonies, there are not many drones that we're seeing, and in this one, because they're trying to produce a new queen, the drones know that, and they come here in the hopes that they'll be the ones that mate with the new queen if she ever gets produced.
It's the energy they must be using to try and to be like this is.
Well, I mean, you can hear that they're running at sort of double speed.
Yeah.
Whereas mostly we've had a sort of quiet, contented hum. With these, we've got a real zing going on. Because they're flying at double frequency. And the problem with that is that because one of them's doing it, then others hear it and come to see what's going on, and they start doing it as well, because they then get excited as well.
And then they're all excited.
So there's basically it's like one of those self-perpetuating problems. If you have a nice colony with the odd bee that does this, then I think it's well worthwhile trying to swap that one bee, because if you leave it doing it, then it'll attract others, and you wind up with a lot of bees zinging about and upsetting everybody. But with this lot, they're all like it, so you can't swat every one of them. So you just have to be thankful for the ones that have got their heads down in the honey cells. I mean, normally I'd be pleased to see this many bees on a frame, because it's this many bees on a frame.
Yeah.
But then with decent bees, even when they're standing on each other's shoulders, the queen will be making like a regal progress through them and shouldering them out of the way, so there will still be a little space where the queen is, so you can actually see her. But this lot, I would think that the queen is probably hiding, so she's not shouldering her way through, and because they're so nervy and they're so sort of jiggling about, even though we've got a good number of bees in here, a proper hive population. They're not just standing on each other's shoulders; they're jiggling about while they're doing it. So you've got two layers of bees jiggling about, and one single bee that's under all that lot trying to find somewhere to hide. Well, it makes life when you're seeking the queen, it makes life a bit difficult. I'm sort of mostly looking for the queen and queen cells. I'm not really interested in how much brood's on there.
Oh, chickie's out.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Is it alright, or do you need to go and
no, I think
catch it and throw it back in?
No, I think she'll be alright. The trouble is, she's out. They all go out, don't they?
Well,
Yeah.
once she's shown them the way, obviously. More drones than
Oh, here she is, Roger.
You found her?
Yeah. There.
Oh, no, brute. Right, well, you're off to chop, madam.
Is she off?
Yep.
Here she is. She's gone. That's it.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Finally got it. Right, what do you think? Do you think we should make a space and put a 6-frame nuke in here, or do you think we should let them build queen cells, knock them down, put a frame of eggs in, hope they use them? What?
Oh. I don't think we should let them make their own queens.
Yeah.
But they're going to.
Well, they will if,
To
you know,
start.
now that we've done that, we're taking the queen out. They will use the
What
eggs
they've
that they've
got.
got in there to make a queen cell. So we could, I suppose, could take a frame out and replace it with a frame from a different colony.
Yeah. With some eggs on.
Nice eggs on.
Well, this poly
That's a nice
blue
one,
one.
isn't it?
Yeah. that's-
Right.
she's
Okay.
nice.
Well, we'll do that then.
Ugh. We're all done.
All done. All good.
Anything you want to say as a final?
Not
Thing.
really. It's, you know. Hopefully we'll get some queen cells and be able to sort something out of that big colony.
Yeah. And get a nice queen in there.
And get a nicer queen and
That'd be good.
hopefully some nicer, quieter bees.
Indeed, indeed.
I mean, they're not awful, but they are just a bit nervy, and
Yeah.
that means that they're prone to getting into places where you don't want them to be.
So we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye to everybody, all our
Loyal.
both our loyal viewers.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yes. And thank you for watching.
My granny and Josh's granny.
That's it. Well, it's goodbye from Gerald as well.
Thank you for watching our weekly update video here at Mantel Farm. If you enjoy what we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos.